Well, everyone, welcome back to the Remote No Pressure Podcast. It's great to be back, Bill.
Hey, it's good to be back.
Was that your line? I said it's great to be. We always do this at the beginning. It's really early in the morning. We're doing a morning episode, but
we haven't done morning episodes in a long time, though.
It has been a little while. Has been a while. This one goes out. Before we get started, I just want to say for all my beer lovers out there, beer lovers truly know the names. And I'm not talking about your local Spaceship Fruity IPA. I'm talking about the names. In this competitive beer landscape, two-hearted drunken monks, Pliny elders, and grapefruit space time machines agree that there's a new name in town, Bill. It's the International Beer Challenge Award winner of 2020. Bend, Oregon's Craft Beer Award winner of 2020, and one of the top-selling beers in Whole Foods currently. This unbelievable IPA, question mark, only 70 calories. And drum roll, please.
No, I don't have one already.
it's drum roll, please. It's non-alcoholic. I love craft beer, and it's hard not to be when you live in Michigan, Bill.
Specifically Grand Rapids, right?
Beer City, USA,
That's
baby.
right.
But I've had to cut back, got the sugar. You know, that kind of thing.
Oh, geez.
Not really, but
WebMD says that.
but you know, as I gotten older, the more I drink, it's like I can't hardly drink an IPA, or you know, because I'm getting older, you know, and as much as the people say, well, the dad bod's hot, you know, I just don't believe that crap. Okay.
Who says that? Tyler Perry?
Tyler Perry. Who doesn't like a good dad bod? Most people don't like a good dad bod. But this beer is called Athletic Brewing. Their Run Wild IPA is non-alcoholic, fully brewed, not diluted, non-alcoholic, low calorie, and award-winning. Have this beer or any other of their beers shipped to your home with 20% off using the discount code BeerMoney20. Let me repeat that again. Beer 20 money. So
Beer 20 money.
Beer Money20. So go to athleticbrewing.com, enter code BeerMoney20 to experience this new name in brewing. Again, that's athleticbrewing.com and enter the code BeerMoney20. Bill, you got one?
I do.
What time is it right now? Right now we are recording at
7:42 a.m.
7:42 a.m. There's nothing like a good cold beer early in the morning.
This is my first beer in over 5 years.
But it's not alcoholic.
Can I pretend? No, I'm just kidding.
Hopefully you don't fall off the wagon because of us.
Do you ever watch Old School?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
Frank the Tank?
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to open. Frank the Tank.
I'm gonna pour it out of our R&P mug. Or into our R&P mug.
See, the thing about our official R&P mug is it actually keeps it beer colder and coffee hotter. Actually, it does none of those things, but you can buy one of our mugs. You know what? Okay, let's try it. I'm going to try it. Let me see.
All right.
Wow, that's actually really good. Almost like a grapefruit IPA. It's got a fruity.
Yeah. It's not too bad.
Be good with a steak.
Yeah.
This is their award winner, Run Wild. Man, that tastes like a beer.
It does.
Doesn't taste like the other non-alcoholic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, let's see, carbohydrates, 14 grams of carbs.
Not terrible, but I mean, if you're trying to avoid them.
But that's not very much. How much does like a normal IPA have?
I think a lot more because of the alcohol content.
Right. 14 carbs, 70 calories. That's actually really low. But the other thing I like about them is they do donate 3% of all of their money to trails, to preservation, things like that. I think they did awesome. Like $300,000 last year donation, which is pretty good. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, go to athleticbrewing.com, BeerMoney20. I chose that discount code BeerMoney20 because who doesn't like a little beer money? But did you know they can't ship to Michigan?
What?
No, they can't ship to your house. You have to. I got mine at Whole Foods. Not Whole Foods, but Harvest Health here locally. Harvest Health sells them, so I went over to Harvest Health.
Harvest Health, wow.
Yeah. Did you know they have a good beer and wine selection?
No, I haven't been there in a while.
For all of our locals here. No, just kidding. It's not an
That's just a Grand Rapids franchise,
It's
isn't
totally. I think there's like 3. There's one in Ada, there's one in Grand Rapids, and there's one in Hudsonville.
Cascade, that must be the Ada.
Yeah.
There's one where I used to live up Burton. Area.
Yeah, Burton and Breton.
Yep. I got a friend who used to work there and at Founders with me back in the day.
Oh, really?
And Hudsonville. Hudsonville's a nice one too.
Yeah, it is. They have a nice selection of beer and wine there, but it's not ad for them. I just like them. They just go there all the time. And
we're waiting for that check, Harvest Health.
Harvest Health. We'll send you the invoice. How does it taste? I mean, it's been 5 years. I mean, is it like...
I don't know how to describe it because it's been 5 years. I mean, like if I was still working at the old brewery and because I had such an array of beers I would drink daily when I was there, or if I was going in, and everyone tasted different. So like my palate was a little bit more honed into that back then. But since like for those of you who don't know the story, like I got a DUI 5 years ago, and so I just like called off drinking.
Yeah.
And so yeah, this tastes like you expect it to taste. But a little bit better because I almost remember the old Budweiser or Coors Light.
O'Doul's or whatever.
I never had O'Doul's. Yeah.
I just wasn't a fan,
I heard that.
It's like, what's the point?
Maybe I did have O'Doul's and I just didn't like it, so I blocked it out of my memory. It's like, well, yeah, exactly. What's the point?
What's the,
But this has some flavor to it.
It does. I would drink this with a steak.
Yeah, I'd take this out in the woods and, camping or something.
Yeah, for sure. Or all the guides, if they want a non-alcoholic option for the people on their boat, it's a great choice, especially everyone out in Utah.
Yeah.
The old Mormons. Yep. I don't think they drink alcohol or coffee.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So, like, the coffee beers would definitely not go over for them.
I was this close to converting to Mormonism, and then they said no coffee, and I'm like, nope. I can't. This is a cult. Everything else I can agree with.
What else? Magic underwear?
I can do anything, but I can't do that. So if any of you are on our YouTube channel, please go down below and click subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we publish new episodes. But if you go to our YouTube channel, you will notice there's a little bit of a different setup now, Bill.
Yes.
We're settling in.
Exactly. We got a raise.
We got a raise. Thank you, Athletic Brewing.
Our allowance came in, and we blew it all on.
Piss it away on beer. No, but you'll notice we have a little bit of a different setup, and it's really nice that I could actually look across and talk to you.
I'm not kinking my neck looking over at you.
Oh, that was awful. I get the cold sweats.
Yep.
Don't see the body. Don't need to see the body. But the body language, there was no body. Yeah,
exactly.
It was hard to communicate. And right now, as you notice, we added a camera, which is a camera phone. But we also we've got a little studio now, so it's kind of nice to have this place of our own. We moved out of the basement. My kids have taken over already.
They're starting their own fly fishing podcast.
Yeah. Well, my son asked. He wants to be a gamer. He wants to have like a streaming game. Like, I don't know what it is about kids these days. I sound like grandpa. Kids these days. But, it's like they just want to get online and, or if they're not playing video games, they want to go online and watch people play video games.
I know. I don't understand that either.
Do you remember, when you were a kid, did you have a Nintendo?
Later on, like 5 years after they were a thing, the Super NES came out, Nintendo dropped in price. That's when we got the Nintendo. Yeah.
That's how we were. We had Atari up until then the Nintendo price dropped and we got it with Duck Hunt. But I remember watching my brother play and I'm thinking like, I don't want to watch, I want to play.
Exactly.
You get pissed because you're like, hurry up,
My turn.
Now people love it. People love to just sit there and watch other people play video games.
I don't get it.
That's not my thing.
I don't get it. Same.
You ever play any kind of fishing games or anything like that at all?
Like in the bars. If you remember those days, what's that golf one? You ever play that Golden Tee, I think it was? And you gotta like hit the ball and
that's right, the white rolling ball, right?
Like a trackpad if you computer wise. You hit that and it would determine your cat, not your cast, your hit.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, that's
not cool. An everyday kind of game. That's let's go have a few beers and play some Golden Tee,
Go have a few beers and get some Golden Tee. But before we go on, let's check out in other news. Can people see the contraption? Your contraption there on the camera?
Nope.
I mean, it's just a push of a button.
It's just my head for the shot. So yeah, now maybe we'll take a photo before we leave so we can post that to Instagram.
Yes, we could see a little
what the studio looks like now.
Yeah. I got to talk about it. Hedge fund titans lose billions.
I saw this happening in the news, and like I'm not paying attention to the news, so I have no idea what's going on.
Basically, a bunch of nobodies on Reddit got together And they found out this hedge fund was shorting GameStop. And the way shorts work is basically the hedge fund was betting that the price would fall and would completely go out of business with the pandemic and everything like that. So what happens is they're forced to buy or sell these particular stocks at a certain price. They're forced to because that's what they have. It's borrowed stock. Well, these little guys on Reddit got together on the Robinhood app or whatever and started buying and basically took down the hedge fund. So in a matter of weeks, two hedge fund legends, Steve Cohen and Dave Sondheim, have suffered bruising losses as amateur traders banded together to take on some of the world's most sophisticated investors. In Cohen's case, he and Ken Griffin ended up rushing to the aid of a third, Gabe Plotkin, whose firm was getting beaten down. Driven by the frenzied trading in GameStop Corp and other stocks that hedge funds have bet against, the losses suffered over the past few days would rank among some of the worst in some of these money managers' storied careers. Cohen's .72 asset management could decline 10 to 15% so far this month, while Sondheim D1 Capital Partners is down about 20. Melvin Capital, Plotkin's firm, lost about 30% through Friday.
That is crazy.
It's kind of interesting. You know, the internet is starting to take over, you know, and we've talked a lot. You can go on our website and check out our Fly Fishing is Dead t-shirts. You can go to remoteNoPressure.com. But, you know, things have changed.
Yep.
You know, the elitism and all the stuff that's happened over the years has really changed. And we are actually given some powers and information that we didn't have before. You know, we didn't know, you know, you get all these people buying $20, $30 worth of stock at the same time. Let's all do our part. And if I lose $30, I lose $30, but we take down a hedge fund. I mean, I think that's their mindset, you know? And it seems like the government wants to come in and like, I see some taxes. They want to tax these little guys and they want to do a few things here to kind of protect these hedge funds. But, you know, if my portfolio is down 30%, I'm just screwed.
Yeah.
The government's not coming there to keep me, you know,
afloat.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting.
Not yet.
Not yet. It's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this. You know, it's just really cool. And, you know, we've talked a lot on the Fly Fishing podcast about how the old school, it's not dead. I mean, there's an appreciation of that, you know.
Yeah.
And we've had some of the legends on this podcast who we respect greatly, but it's really cool to see new tires coming up. It's cool to see new ideas, new fly fishing techniques, with the exception of Tenkara. I'm totally kidding. But, you know, it's like the old school is dead and there's this new thing rising up. And I think it's not just in fly fishing, but it seems like it's in every industry. What are your thoughts on that, Bill? Lots of talking from Jeff.
Sometimes I miss the 90s where before all the internet and everything took over. Like, and I could almost see us going back to that era. Well, that's my conspiracy side with big tech being what it is. Like, yeah, and that's what got our podcast taken down.
There it goes. So what? The Pope has been arrested and is down in prison. The Pope is in jail in Guantanamo.
Right? You heard that too?
I'm going crazy now. I'm going to just let it all out. No, there's
all the world leaders retiring. What's going on?
What's going on? I don't know. I don't know. You know, there's so many conspiracies, and I love it. Like, I love reading about them.
Yeah.
I don't believe them.
Nope.
I don't believe 98% of it.
I had hope in one. And,
yeah.
And it all flushed down the toilet on the 20th. So, you know what? It's all good.
It's all good. It's fun though. It
is fun.
And like I've told people before, politics is really soap operas for men.
Yep.
Yeah, and grown-ups, you know. It's fun to consume.
That's right. It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like it brings us back to our childhood if we think about it. Going back to the UFO stuff, the aliens, like that was always fun for me to think about when I was a kid.
Right.
And now the government's releasing everything about them. So
what have you read? Have you read anything?
I haven't read anything lately, no, but I just know from the last stimulus bill, like we were talking, everything has to be released within 6 months. So
yeah,
and it looks like the CIA is doing a big data dump, like on our last interview or our last episode. Was it the last episode?
Last Sunday published. But you know, we normally do 2 to 3 episodes. We're recording at the same time.
Yeah,
to put those out. But yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. But you know, I just don't take anything seriously anymore. So, but this week on the Remote No Pressure podcast, we don't have an interview. You know, and what I find interesting, Bill.
Winteresting?
What I find winteresting. Nothing is winteresting. Winter sucks. Yeah. But what I find interesting is that our episodes, when it's just you and me, tend to do just as well as with.
People love us.
I think you've become famous now, Bill. People have
true?
tuned in to
hear
see
my
Wild Bill.
home cooked conspiracy theories. I can't even say it anymore.
Home cooked.
I think this beer hit me.
Mixing it with a little coffee.
Maybe I need.
It actually tastes delicious. Like I keep drinking it.
I know.
I was nervous. This is the first time I've drank it on the YouTube channel. I was a little nervous. I'm gonna try it on the air and it's gonna suck.
Yep.
I really was because it's non-alcoholic. But it's actually delicious. I would actually drink. I digress. Yeah. Okay.
I'll drink more of it. Yeah.
I'll drink more of it.
Yeah.
It's good.
It is good. It's tasty. And yeah, it's not going to get me drunk.
See,
that was my problem. Is I have a break problem when it comes to drinking alcohol. Like I was like Frank the Tank. We were just talking about that before we got on there.
Yeah.
That once it hits your lips,
It's so good. It's so delicious.
Yeah. Then the next thing you know, I'm streaking by the quad. So
I only picked you up streaking one time, Bill. 20 years ago.
But
Did you ever run the gauntlet with us?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, Cliff Rosenberg, Nate Phillips, the whole crew.
Was there any drinking involved with that?
We were sober at the time.
Exactly. That made no sense to me. Yeah.
Which is scary. So basically, we had paintball guns. It was super cold, like in a February day or night. It was an evening, and ran around with our shirts taken off, and you have to run the gauntlet. Everyone starts shooting at you.
Unusual party. Like, all right, guys.
Sounds like some kind of skull
and
bones.
Let's just hang out and take our shirts off. What? Just do it.
I'm your boss. Don't ask me any questions. Take off your shirt. Harvey?
Do you want this job or not?
Do you want this job? Who wants it more? Little A cups flouncing through the air. But it's really cool that even though we don't have like a celebrity on this week, but we are going to talk a little bit about. We've taken this small season, and someone put a comment up on I think it was Instagram that it's not all about Michigan, and we understand that. If you know me, it's Texas a lot. We also have a lot of listeners down in Texas. Big shout out to Living Waters and all the crew down there. But me and Bill live in Michigan, so we wanted to take a little bit of time, a few episodes, maybe 4 or 5 episodes, and just really focus on our Michigan waters and Michigan anglers. We have coming up here episode with Drew Youngdyke, who's part of the Wildlife Federation, and he's going to talk to us about the Asian carp. You need the push button to beep out the word Asian.
I know. I'll work on that.
We got to do that, But anyways, so Drew Youngdyke's coming up here next week, but and we have some Michigan people. But this week I want to talk about the top 10 Michigan flies.
Oh, nice.
This is pro tips from Chuck Hawkins. This is from actually Orvis News. So we're going to put a link down below into the show notes where you can check on this. But, Michigan flies are a big... Obviously, we use them a lot because we live in Michigan. And I think if we could choose one fly that would actually talk about, to really represent us as a podcast, I would choose the clown egg.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, it's the goofiest and the easiest fly to tie, but it's number 9 on the list. It's a clown egg. It's basically... a salmon or steelhead egg, and it looks like it's a fly that looks like an egg.
I gotcha.
So, yeah, but anyways, I'm totally kidding there. Parachute Adams.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of this episode, too, you guys can hang out and listen to the Parachute Adams band. We have an album coming out, dropping February the 15th. Jeff Troutman and the Parachute Adams band. That's one of the reasons that we're here from that we're here in the studio. We're starting to practice our live events that are coming up here this year as things begin to open up.
Yeah.
And it's Jeff Troutman and the Parachute Adams band. We'll be doing a live podcast, bringing in some celebrity tires, and then playing some music. So hang on to the last end of the episode, and we're going to play the song Heaven, which is the title track off that album. But Parachute Adams was created in Michigan.
Awesome.
Yeah. So if you look at the record, the new album coming out, we have a Rio chiclet on the front that says Jeff Trout and the Parachute Adams Band, and then inside the CD cover, there's a Parachute Adams fly, which is pretty cool. So it's a shout out to Michigan and shout out to Texas, which is pretty cool. But Parachute Adams was created here. Real McCoy's AP Drake fly. Have you ever fished the Hex?
I have not.
You didn't go up with Phil and I, did you?
No.
But that Drake fly is an amazing fly. And actually, my son's middle name is Drake.
Interesting. Was that a coincidence or was that a...
No, it's totally planned. His last name is Troutman, too. I wanted to name him Drake as his first name, but Mama was like, no, not going to happen. So I was like, all right, that's the way it is.
Fine, middle name it is.
Middle name it is. And it actually sounds really cool. I'm not going to tell you which child it is because you may steal his identity. What's your mother's maiden name? His mother's maiden name. Totally kidding. Robert's Yellow Drake. There's lots of Drakes on here. Robert's Yellow Drake. You can also click below and see some pictures. Borcher's Drake. The Borchers and Robert's Yellow Drake are old-time proven patterns created on the Manistee and Asable rivers. All these patterns I carry in size 10 and 18. They get used to imitate a large variety of mayflies. Mm-hmm. Now, before we go on to the next fly, which is the wet skunk, this guy actually quotes Kirk Dieter, writer for Field and Stream, and I think he's also the CEO of Trout Unlimited as well, or one of the guys there. One says he believes that Michigan is the top fly fishing state in the union.
I like that. I can see that. I don't know. I've never fished another state, so I can't say.
You know,
I've fished Michigan though, and obviously you got me back into that or into it.
Yeah, yeah.
And we have some awesome rivers here.
Well, you know, I don't think it's just the rivers, but I think it's also we have some great rivers, right? Mm-hmm. And we got the cold water fish. We have the salmon, the steelhead, the trout, but we also have the warm water species. We have the smallmouth. We have the carp. You know, there's a lot of warm weather pike, muskies, the warm water that we have as well. So there's such a variety here. We don't have the salt water.
Yeah, that's true.
But you know, they say, and I have not caught a carp on the flats, but they say that's a lot like bone fishing. Call it the redneck bonefish.
Oh,
carp fishing here. Yeah.
I think you gave me a fly for catching carp.
I did. Was it the berry one?
Yeah. I haven't had a chance to try that one yet.
Yeah, I get underneath those berry trees and bam, dude.
The lake I've been fishing on doesn't have carp that I've seen. Just a lot of sunfish and bass.
Which one? Which lake was it?
It's at Hall Lake where I took you down.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. Yeah, you got some sweet setups for the kayaks too. Yeah, those are some nice little sunfish and bass and stuff like that. But, you know, this is just such a huge variety. You could do any kind of fishing that you want, with the exception of saltwater. The wet skunk, a simple weighted wet skunk fish on a floating line near a structure, can produce at times when nothing else will. So wet skunk, the old ye oldie nutcracker fly, hat trick, little rascal. See, as a songwriter, there's so much material that you can use. The names of flies, you know, clown egg, and the par none. So we have all those available to you if you go to remotenotpressure.com or click on the links below, and you too can find all of the information that we talked about today.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And also, you can check out pictures of all of our new studio also.
Yeah.
Where Bill sits and what he's doing and his gear.
Looks like I have a drinking problem already.
It looks like it. But you know what?
Beverages, and a mixer. And like the old days.
Like the old days. You used to be a smoker too, right?
Oh, yeah.
How many packs a day would you smoke?
If I was a bar night and I wasn't like working, I was just hanging out, I could smoke a pack at the bar.
Oh, really?
You know, back when you could smoke them in Michigan in bars.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I was just a pack a day person.
Really?
But if I went to the bar, it was 2 packs.
2 packs.
Yep.
You know, it was funny because I saw this meme the other day, and it was a McDonald's ashtray from McDonald's, and says, "I'm this old." Remember those ashtrays?
Yep.
I think I've told this story before on the podcast, but I remember running around a Dairy Queen restaurant, and a guy had a cigarette hanging out, you know, like, and I was a kid. I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and I hit his cigarette, and it burned my arm. And my mom yelled at me. She's like, "Told you to settle down. Get somewhere and sit down." I'm like, "It hurts." You know, these days you'd blame the guy and sue him for burning your kid, you know?
Different eras, right?
Different era, bro.
I remember when in college, we used to congregate around the doors because it'd be like raining or snowing during school.
Oh, sure.
So we'd go outside for a smoke quick, and there's probably like 5 or 6 guys huddled underneath this awning.
Yeah.
And you saw where I went to school.
Yeah, GRCC. We recorded down there at one time. Now I remember that, going out back and everyone smoking.
Yeah, and everybody would always complain to the deans of the music department how everybody's out there smoking and they're getting cigarette burns on their coats because they're walking through all these guys. And I feel bad now in retrospect, but back then I'm like, man, why are all these people complaining?
What's wrong with you? You know,
just ask us to move. Then don't push through. I don't know what the problem is.
Right? Yeah, I'll offer you a smoke.
Yeah. No. They were expensive back then when you were in college.
Get those Big Chief or whatever those natural cigs, those cigarillos or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? No, they're brown. They're super cheap.
Oh, like the Outlaws?
Yes. Like expensive for you in a carton, but by the case, I digress. I was never a smoker. It's not something I ever did, but whatever. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us today on the Remote No Pressure podcast. There we go. We got the button down.
That's it. Just got to hit the button.
And be sure to go to our website at remotenopressure.com. Click below, and you too can find all the information that we talked about. Bill, you have any final words today?
Oh, man. I did. Then the music hit, and I'm like, what? We're wrapping up. Oh, crap. I forgot it.
Well, be sure to subscribe whatever podcast you're on. And until next time, go fishing.
Fog appears and then subsides, like the thoughts inside my head, all is clear. Tie on a local flight, one I've never tried, and hope and pray as it drifts by that it is all they said it'd be. The streets are made of gold, ivory, precious stones, so the mud and rocks they're gonna have to do. No choirs of angels here, but this river sure is clear. Oh, this is the heaven that I know. In the perfect weather to be out on this river all alone. Slightly overcast, but this one will be my last. But I swear I said that 1,000 casts to go. The streets are made of gold, ivory, or precious stones, so the mud and rocks they're gonna have to do. The choirs of angels here, but this river sure is clear. Oh, this is the heaven that I know. Winding rivers, hooks and flies. It's here I live, it's here I'll die. In that sweet by and by. The streets are made of gold, ivory, or precious stones, so the mud and rocks they're gonna have to do. No choirs of angels here, but this river sure is clear. Oh, this is the heaven that I know. No choirs of angels here, but this this river show is clear. Oh, this is the heaven that I know.